Elon Musk is known to get attention due to his tweets. Similarly, this time around, Musk has once again managed to gain the attention of the world by going all out against the Russians. Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to show you how Musk put the Russians in their face. So, before we begin, make sure to comment and leave a like on this video and subscribe to our channel for more. The war in Ukraine has gone on for a while, and its effects can be seen all over the globe. If this carries on for too long, then the power struggle between two global powers could just enter a new paradigm. The invasion continues, and the EU, US, and other NATO countries have chosen to show Ukraine some support as a potential NATO ally. As a result, a mountain of embargoes has been stacked on Russia. However, Russia has the support of countries such as China and North Korea, which are opposed to the West, NATO, and its allies. As a result of these embargoes, Russia has decided to step away from collaboration in man's quest into the new frontier. Now, which entity can fill up the void left by the Russians? The answer is simple, and it must almost be at the tip of your tongues. Yup, it's none other than SpaceX. Roscosmos, the premier Russian space agency, has already discontinued its partnership with OneWeb, a London-based satellite company. In March, OneWeb, a London-based firm, announced that it would no longer launch satellites from the Russian Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. The decision came after Roscosmos, Russia's official space agency, said it would not launch 36 OneWeb internet satellites unless the company promised the craft would not be used for military reasons. As a result, the British government agreed to distance itself from the company. The government had earlier helped OneWeb out of bankruptcy in 2020. Also, the launch of Russian-built Soyuz rockets from Europe's spaceport in French Guiana has been halted. Dmitry Rogozin declared that his organization would no longer provide rocket engines to American corporations, advising them to fly on broomsticks instead. Rogozin has also questioned Russia's involvement in the International Space Station program, which has long been a symbol of collaboration in the face of adversity on the ground. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24, U.S. President Joe Biden announced fresh economic penalties aimed at crippling Russia's space program. It would cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports, among other things, according to estimates. Rogozin was cautioned that the penalties would have serious ramifications for the orbiting laboratory. "Do you want to ruin our collaboration on the ISS?" he questioned U.S. President Joe Biden in an interview that he had with Russia Today. Rogozin reminded viewers on Twitter that Russia is in charge of the space station's navigation and fuel delivery. In a recent interview, Roscosmos stated that it would stop cooperating on joint German-Russian research projects aboard the space station and instead conduct the research independently as another response to sanctions imposed following the invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Germany's DLR space agency halted space cooperation by shutting down its black hole telescope on Russia's Spectrum Röntgen Gamma satellite. The working relationship between NASA and Russia is more strained now than at any previous time in the space station's lengthy existence, and it's unclear how long it'll last. However, NASA has never directly expressed concern about Russian threats. This is because they already have SpaceX, the leading company in the space industry today, and they can get the necessary assistance from the Musk company. SpaceX has already got a number of achievements under its belt, and it definitely has the ability to replace Russia on the space station. Without the Russian Soyuz craft to repair the space station, it would deorbit and fall to Earth. Any visiting ship with more fuel, such as the SpaceX manned Dragon capsule, may boost the station and keep it running as is. In 2014, NASA granted contracts to SpaceX and Boeing under its Commercial Crew Program to develop crew capsules that would transport people to and from the International Space Station. While the Boeing Starliner has yet to transport a crew, SpaceX's Crew Dragon has successfully transported many astronaut teams to and from the orbiting facility. After the Space Shuttle program ended in 2011, NASA formed this collaboration to reduce its reliance on Russia's Soyuz capsule, the agency's lone spacecraft, to the station. Now, Elon Musk, the SpaceX creator, has expressed his sympathy for Ukraine by supplying Starlink user terminals. Customers may use these tiny satellites to connect to SpaceX's satellite-based internet service. These satellites have already taken position above Ukraine and are providing Ukrainians with vital connections to the internet. Even the president of Ukraine thanked Musk for his service. President Zelensky had earlier talked to Musk on a phone call, and Musk had promised to do him this service, a promise that he later kept. Musk also replied to Rogozhin's tweet about the future of the ISS. He simply posted a picture of SpaceX's logo and said that any ship with enough fuel could bring people and necessities to and back from the space station. This was a clapback at Rogozhin's earlier comments about the space program being dependent on Russian rockets. This would mean that the Soyuz would not be needed to carry out missions in space, and it could also dispel the end of the partnership that had been going on for so long. Although the Dragon spacecraft isn't as big as the Soyuz, it can be rescaled to better meet the requirements of NASA. Russia is ending rocket engine shipments to the EU and the US as part of a space cooperation phase that will likely have far-reaching consequences. Only Northrop Grumman, which uses Russian-made RD-181 engines in its Antares rocket D-180s, which powers the first stage of the United Launch Alliance's workhorse Atlas V launcher, is affected by the ban, but the firm claims it has enough engines on hand to fly out all remaining Atlas V missions. As for SpaceX, the company is growing more and more important day by day. The company is currently focused on Project Artemis and the Mars mission. Within the industry, SpaceX's Raptor engine is considered an engineering marvel. In comparison to practically any other large-scale engine development effort in the previous 50 years, its speed and frequent iterations exceed competitors' reach. According to Musk's recent update, the Raptor's month 100 engine milestone is a remarkable feat. SpaceX just requires 24 hours to build one Raptor engine, indicating that the company is ready to take the ISS to the next level. With all this information, we can safely assume that SpaceX might be the only company in the Western Hemisphere that could help out NASA in managing the gap that the lack of Russian Soyuz rockets will bring. Apart from pursuing Chinese launch services, which is likely to be a diplomatic nightmare, the only way to reschedule former European Soyuz payloads on SpaceX rockets is to embrace one or several years of costly delays. The truth is that without SpaceX, NASA would still be reliant on Russian Soyuz rockets and spacecraft to get its astronauts to and from the International Space Station. Now, if you consider a future without SpaceX, then NASA's only option would be to rely on Russian-built rockets. Now, if that becomes the case, you could very well expect a crisis in space as well as on Earth. Russia would be able to make the EU and US concede to its demands, which would only spell trouble for the war raging in Ukraine. But thanks to SpaceX, we won't have to see this situation, as SpaceX has become the herald of private spaceflight for both Europe and the US. So that's all the time we had today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon on your way out. See you all next time.